Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. My name is Paul Sanneman. I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source. We help build great teams for contractors. My guest this morning is Ajith Govid, I hope I got that right, with Cactus. Now, Ajith, tell me your background and what does Cactus do?
Yeah, so my background is in computer science. Started off with that. Got into data science. Worked with the CMO of Dell in Austin, where I was
Mhm.
optimizing $1 billion spends for her globally. So that's how I got into the business world. And from there, I founded my first company, which raised 20 million Series A and is working with companies like Pepsi, Unilever, many of those products you might have used, like Kraft, Heinz, ketchup. We helped to formulate that. And yeah, during that journey is when I worked very closely with my current co-founder, Avinash. He's also my college batchmate. And yeah, we both realized that we have this common passion to help small businesses. And that's how we got into this niche. Basically, Cactus is a 24/7 AI call center, which makes sure that small business don't miss calls, right? So it answers the calls, make sure that the jobs are booked and revenue is booked. So that's in a nutshell what we do. Yeah.
Now, there's arguing. People say, well, AI isn't as good as in person. I would like to hear your comments on that. What's the upside of AI and the downside of AI versus having a real person answer the phone?
So I think both has some positives and some negatives. It's a pros and cons. I think of course the human touch is very important. We know that. I don't think so. I'm not in the camp which says that let's replace every human with an AI. Actually, I'm in the opposite camp where I say let's augment every human with AI and have more humans doing that job. So there is this common misconception that AI will come and change everything and run everything. That's not what we believe. What we have seen is that we get into a company in HVAC or any of the home service companies for after hours. AI actually answers the phone in the after hours, collects all the information, makes more revenue for the company. And counterintuitively, what happens is that then they actually need more CSRs to service those customers. So yeah, the pros of AI is that it is very empathetic, it is consistent, it never misses a call, it can handle as many calls as you want at the same time, right? And it's very surprising that customers actually love talking to AI, giving the information, and 78% of customers actually expect an AI to pick up the phone these days. So this is the pros. Of course, cons is that you can never, like I said, replace the human touch. I think that is very important. And the key thing that AI lets humans do is focus on those high quality touch points and let AI do the grunt work and let us do the high quality touch points with the customer. So that's the way that we think about this space.
Okay, now AI, can you tell it's AI when AI answers the phone?
1 year back, I think you could. I don't think you can now. It's really hard. Like it's getting to the point where it is really difficult. Uh, in fact, one of our customers recently gave us a testimonial saying that most of their customers don't realize that it's AI. Uh, Having said that, there are companies who uses where we proactively say that, hey, this is AI, you're talking to an AI, and just upfront, right? So it really depends on how we want to position it, basically. So yeah.
I have a question. Do you have to legally say that it's AI or not AI? Does it depend on the state? Does it depend on the country? How does that work?
Depends on the states. There is again, it's also depends on the particular types of services, whether the call comes inbound or whether you call them back as an outbound based on an inquiry. There are some nuances there, but most of the cases, I think it is okay. You don't really have to say it upfront, but many of our customers are upfront saying it, which makes it even better because you're setting the expectation right? Not trying to deceive anybody. So yeah.
Mhm. So the answer is you don't legally have to, but it might be a good idea ethically. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So now explain exactly. let's take an HVAC company or whatever. What happens first? How do you install the system? And then what actually does the system do?
Yeah. So how do we install the system? We are basically, we're going to come to your location or, understand everything about your business. Let's say it's an HVAC, right? Like you'll have all the documentation about how should, a CSR talk to a customer, what should be the scripts, what is the information do you need, what do you need to qualify. We understand all that. And it's like about a 7 to 14 days, like 1 to 2 weeks process where we create this knowledge base, and once that is created, then we go on to test it, right? So we test it internally, you test it as a customer, and then we set a go live date where AI starts answering the phones. We monitor that, we keep improving it, and then it reaches a steady state where almost all the issues are resolved and addressed, and then it's acceptable to just work as an after hours CSR who picks up the phone and makes sure that no job is lost.
Now, what kind of conversation does AI have? Does it say, "Are you having a good day? How are the kids?" I'm just kidding. What? Or I
Yeah,
noticed you live here. We have other customers that live here. I'm just curious to see the extent of the conversation and what kind of conversation AI has, and how conversational it is versus a robot. What is your name? Where do you belong? I mean, so
yeah,
how is it varied? Because a lot of people, including me, have a little bit of prejudice against AI because I've heard it and it sounds so canned. My name
yeah.
is Paul Sanneman. How can I help you? It's like, dude, I want a real
Yeah.
person here. So how do you deal with that?
So I think inherently AI is very empathetic. Again, it's very different from the, yeah, very robotic. It's not at all robotic. And some of the conversations which we listen in are actually very interesting because sometimes the calls go up to 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and they are talking a lot about it's not just about that air conditioning which is not working, or it is not about that particular issue, but also about how they feel, which is, I think, really interesting. So one of the things that we started to realize is that customers are sharing more of their feelings to AI versus a human. And that is very interesting to me because I didn't expect that actually. So, yeah, I mean,
Let me, one thing
yeah,
about AI is it's not very judgmental, right? It's very
it is not.
empathetic
Yes,
and it never
it is
gets
not.
mad. It never says, that's a stupid question, right?
Yeah, yeah. And there are many cases where, customers are upset, right? Of course, because, um, something happened and the technician didn't show up or something broke, and AI can handle that very nicely. And I think the more important thing is the next call is AI is like still consistently. I don't think it affects AI at all. It doesn't affect AI versus I think it does affect a human CSR, right? And it basically acts as a first layer of like an apology as well, which is what we have seen, which is actually interesting. And many of the times it takes a sting out of the problem, and then CSRs can manage that really well.
So let's say the technician didn't show up for whatever reason, right? And I'm
Yeah,
calling and I'm complaining. I'm going, this guy was supposed to 8 o'clock. He never showed up. I'm in Phoenix and it's 110 degrees. I'm dying here. You guys suck. I mean, whatever,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
how does AI deal with that?
So AI is programmed to be very apologetic. So the main thing that AI is really important, like does really well, is that it apologizes like very frequently, right? And I think it just diffuses the whole situation. So I think because of that, the situation gets diffused, and then you come to, okay, what's the resolution? So first thing is to make sure that it's diffused, and then the resolution. Um, Again, resolution may or may not happen depending on, if there are technicians available or what the issue is. So that's where I think the CSRs come in, right? Right after that.
So, what you're telling me, and I just remember that sometimes you get a CSR there in some country they can barely speak English, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're
That's
and you're
yeah,
trying, I don't care what India, just pick someplace, right? But the
yeah.
call centers are not noted for being really good in English. We've all had that
No.
experience, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
call up and they go, you have to repeat 4 times, I said this, can't you
yeah.
understand me? and the person's got a super heavy accent,
Yeah.
and they're trying to, I said he did not
Yeah.
show up,
Yeah.
right? Understand
Yeah.
me clearly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know sometimes my wife, she just hang up. She goes, this person has no clue what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The accent's too heavy. I can understand it, and just hangs up. Now, the
Yeah.
good news, AI doesn't have an accent, right? Or can
Oh,
have any
yeah.
accent.
So AI is actually great at understanding the accents. Even if we don't understand, sometimes we can't understand the accent. The person is speaking so like in a low volume, we don't get it. CSRs don't get it, and then AI is like, okay, let's answer this very accurately. Now, I think that thing is very true with call centers. We've heard like a lot of horror stories where uh, the operator changes and then they don't know enough about the business. I think that consistency and the knowledge that AI has is like a very big advantage for sure.
So you might be saying AI is going to do a better job if you have a call center offshore and nobody speaks English very well. AI would be a better option for sure.
For sure. I think that is by default, and especially in those cases where where they're looking for a new like a first time working with a company, you don't want that experience to be subpar, right? And that's I mean
Right.
most of the people look at that very like even me when I call like an HVAC or a plumbing company, if it is an offshore call center which is picking up my phone and I know it right away, like I immediately know it.
Right.
It is basically giving me not the best impression of this company. So yeah, it is for sure.
Right. I mean, it's like they're cheap and they don't care. I mean, even though
Exactly. That's
it
yeah,
just comes across that way. Now, if I call somebody and get the lady in the office who has
yeah,
a, who's
yeah,
English, or it's a different feeling than if I get a
yeah.
call center offshore someplace, right?
Yeah, I think everybody buys home services based on trust and perception. And I think the first touch point is so crucial. Like I think, yeah, it is very
Right.
important. Yeah.
Because I know that happens. So I imagine a lot of offshore call centers are being replaced by AI. I would say that's
I
happening,
think
right?
so. I definitely think so. I think it is a complete no-brainer. I don't see almost like any reason not why we should not do that. So yeah.
Okay. Now, what about cost? What does it cost to have AI answer your phone 24/7?
I think see for us again, generically speaking, it costs anywhere from $500 a month to like $20,000 a month, depending on what's the call volume, what's your how many locations are there, how many numbers do you need, and so on, right? But a typical like for us, a customer pays anywhere from $1,000 to like $2,000, right? And it is definitely comparable or cheaper than a call center option for after hours. And of course, it's not just after hours, but also like overflow during the day, right? So when the CSS are really busy, it picks up the phone as well. So during the
Right.
day,
And it
yeah.
does it do outbound or just inbound?
So it does do outbound. There are many ways you can set it up. Of course, you can set it up to receive the inbound calls, but it can also do outbound where they submit a form and then it calls them back. We are also working on this new feature for outbound for nurturing the existing customer base, creating a new source of revenue from that particular outbound. So yeah, there's a lot of applications which are coming up which are very exciting. Yeah.
And so for a small guy, two guys in a truck, maybe like
Yeah.
$500 a month. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
what about the option? Let's say you've got Go High Level that has a built-in AI in it. How do you
Yeah.
compare with something like that? We're there's
Yeah.
their current whatever software like Go High Level has AI. How do you compare to that?
So for us, we think of voice AI as one of the products that we're building, right? Again, the comparison to any other voice AI is very straightforward. First, what's our latency? Is it how does it sound? Is it human like? What is the kind of setup that is required? How do you give it feedback? How do you keep getting it updated?
Mhm.
So, of course, it is much better in terms of latency and sounding human like, but I think every other company that you talk about, they are having voice AI as a do-it-yourself setup, and
Right.
that is where it is like it really fails because I don't think it is at the stage where anybody could just set up a voice AI. Now, eventually it will be, I think, right? Maybe in like 5 years. It's just like websites, right? Like you'll get there, but not today, not as of today. So yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is if it's an attachment to your current software,
Yeah.
it may not be as good as one that's custom made for you that really
Yeah,
sounds like a person. Okay.
absolutely. For sure. Yeah.
So now, how do people get in touch with you if they're interested in finding out more?
Oh yeah, it's very simple. You could either mail me Ajith at oncactus.com, or you could just directly book a demo through our main website oncactus.com. Yeah.
Okay, cool. The appointment. So I would say if you're listening to this podcast, you should at least investigate it. I mean, I may do it too because I'm using 𝘂𝗍𝗄𝗃 and it sort of sucks.
Yeah.
No, and then that's why I think all AI is like, because, oh, this is just, AI and it all sounds terrible and people don't like it. But I think they should give someone like you a shot who really understands it, knows how to customize it, and makes it more like a human than just the standard out of the box that they're going to get with their CRM, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Ajith. I really appreciate you being here. This is great information. I may give you a call.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.